2 weeks of cash. A collapsing economy. And one last bet that could destroy everything. They said it was impossible. So Tesla built an assembly line, in a tent. On Christmas Eve, he wired his last $20 million. If this failed, Tesla was finished. The audacious bet, 2008. The air in the San Carlos office is thick with despair. The Roadster, a feat of engineering built on a Lotus chassis, is finally real, but the triumph is hollow. The 2008 financial crisis has frozen the world's capital. Investors who promised money have vanished. The company has enough cash for maybe 2 weeks of payroll. Founders Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning are gone, and the young CEO, Elon Musk, who poured his own fortune into the company from the SpaceX sale, watches the balance sheet dwindle. The dream of an electric car company feels like it's dying. The production hell, Act 1, long before the financial crisis, the problem was the car itself. Each Roadster is being assembled essentially by hand, a process costing over $100,000 for a car sold at $92,000. The real nightmare is the 2-speed transmission. It's designed to give the electric motor both blistering acceleration and high top speed, but it keeps shredding itself under the instant, immense torque. Engineers from the fledgling team, like J.B. Straubel, sleep on stained office couches. They face a brutal choice: delay again, risking the ire of customers and investors, or ship a car with a single-speed gearbox that compromises top speed. They choose the latter, delivering a slightly less than perfect product to survive. The savior deal, Christmas Eve, 2008. It's the most desperate hour. Payroll is due. Musk is in New York, frantically working the phones. He has already invested nearly everything. He forces existing investors to double down, structuring a desperate convertible debt round. To close it, he commits his last $20 million from the PayPal sale, money he needed to keep SpaceX afloat. The deal closes at 6 p.m. on Christmas Eve. The company has a pulse again, but Musk is now spiritually and financially married to Tesla, a bond that will be tested to its breaking point. The Model S gamble, the Roadster was a proof of concept, a halo car for billionaires. The Model S is the bet the company move. It has to be a clean sheet design, no Lotus chassis. It requires a dedicated factory and a revolutionary battery pack built into the floor. The plan is absurd: a startup with a single, hand-built product is going to spend hundreds of millions to build a luxury sedan from scratch, competing with BMW and Mercedes. The board hesitates, but Musk's Christmas Eve gamble gives him the leverage to push it through. The Tesla Death Watch, the press has a field day. The New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and every automotive blog runs a countdown clock. Tesla Death Watch becomes a meme. Pundits on CNBC call the company a cult and Musk a charlatan. Inside the tiny Fremont office, it's painful but galvanizing. A young engineer prints out the most scathing article and tacks it to the wall. Soon, the wall is papered with obituaries of their company. The team looks at it every day, not with despair, but with a simmering rage to prove them wrong. The secret masterstroke: while the design studio sculpts the Model S's beautiful lines, a tiny, skunkworks team is mapping a different kind of terrain, the country. They realize the Model S's 300-mile range is meaningless if owners are stranded. The idea of the supercharger network is born. It's a $100 million infrastructure project for a company that doesn't have $10 million. Musk's directive is simple: make it free for them forever, and make it so fast they don't have to think about it. It's another impossible, unproven expense. Fremont's ghosts: Tesla buys the old Nummi plant from Toyota for a bargain. But walking into the cavernous, empty factory is like walking into a tomb. It's a graveyard of American manufacturing ambition, a place where both GM and Toyota struggled. The silence is deafening. The small Tesla team, armed with PowerPoints and prototypes, must now fill this space with alien technology, massive stamping presses, robotic arms for aluminum welding, and a cleanroom atmosphere for battery assembly. They are ghosts haunting a graveyard, trying to bring it back to life. The make or break review: months later, a single, gleaming Model S is handed over to the most powerful men in automotive journalism. The entire company goes silent, refreshing browser tabs. The review posts: the best car I've ever driven. The effect is immediate. The phone lines at the Hawthorne design studio light up. The reservation queue explodes. But the euphoria is short-lived. The review said it was the best car. Now, they have to build it. Production hell. Act 2, the factory becomes a war zone. The robots programmed to weld aluminum turn the metal to shrapnel. Suppliers in Germany and Japan can't keep up. Parts arrive defective. Musk, in a move that will become legendary, drags a sleeping bag and a desk to the end of the final assembly line. He personally reviews every vehicle that fails inspection. The burst build ritual is born. The last 2 weeks of every quarter become a frantic, all-hands-on-deck push to get cars out the door, with executives working the line and mechanics flown in from service centers to help. The brush with Apple. In 2013, the stock is battered, the shorts are circling. Rumors swirl that Apple's M&A team is serious. Talks begin. For some executives, it's a lifeline, a chance to join the most valuable company on Earth. For Musk, it's a non-starter. An acquisition would mean ceding control, watering down the mission to accelerate sustainable transport into a mere hobby project for a phone company. The talks collapse, leaving Tesla more isolated but more determined. The zombie period. 4 years after, Tesla exists in a bizarre financial state. It doesn't turn a profit. Yet, it survives. It's kept alive by a cocktail of factors: massive capital raises from true believer investors, zero-interest loans from the Department of Energy, and the bizarre economics of regulatory credits, money paid by legacy automakers who failed to meet emission standards. The company is a zombie, not alive, not dead, shambling forward on sheer momentum and Musk's ability to sell a vision. The Model X distraction. The next project, the Model X SUV, was supposed to be easier. It isn't. The Falcon Wing doors become an obsession, an engineering labyrinth of sensors, hinges, and seals that constantly fail. The project bleeds money and, more critically, engineering talent and time. The Model 3, the car meant to save the company and the planet, is put on hold while everyone fights with the doors of a niche SUV. The Gigafactory leap. To make the Model 3 affordable, the cost of the battery, the single most expensive part, must be cut. The solution is insane: build the largest building on Earth, dedicated solely to lithium-ion batteries. Partnering with Panasonic, Tesla breaks ground in the Nevada desert. The bet is $5 billion. It's a scale play never before attempted. If it fails, there is no Model 3. If it works, it reshapes the world's battery supply. The Model 3 reveal and avalanche. In 2016, Musk unveils the Model 3. The design is clean, the promise is a $35,000 electric car. The response is a cultural phenomenon. People line up at stores like they're buying iPhones. In 1 week, over 325,000 people put down a $1,000 deposit. The company now has $325 million in interest-free loans from the public, and a crushing obligation to deliver. The world is no longer just watching, it is invested. Production hell. Act 3, the darkest. Then the machine breaks. The automated, alien dreadnought assembly line at Fremont is a complete failure. Robots can't place battery cells correctly. The general assembly line grinds to a halt. Tesla is burning through $1 billion a quarter. Debt payments are looming. Analysts run the numbers: bankruptcy is 10 weeks away. The Death Watch articles are back, louder than ever. This feels like the final act. The assembly line tense. In a move of pure desperation, Musk orders a radical, humiliating pivot. A new production line will be built, not inside the factory, but in a massive tent structure in the parking lot. It will be semi-automated, relying on humans to do the jobs the robots failed at. Industry experts scoff. It looks like a circus sideshow. But the tent line is agile. It can be tweaked and fixed in real time. It starts to move. The all-night push. The target is 5,000 cars in a single week, the number Wall Street demands to prove viability. Musk orchestrates the chaos, sleeping on the factory floor. The team is broken into shifts, working 24/7. Tempers flare, conveyor belts jam, parts run low. In the final hours of the last day, it's a photo finish. At 7 a.m. on a Sunday, the count is verified: 5,031. The team, exhausted and delirious, erupts. They have done the impossible. The profit signal. The 5,000 car week is not just a number, it's a psychological shift. In Q3 of 2018, the impossible happens again. Tesla posts a genuine, sustainable profit. The production hell narrative shatters. The stock, once the most shorted in history, begins its long, relentless climb. The believers are vindicated, and the doubters are forced to recalculate. The Shanghai miracle, the next test is global scale. Building a car plant in China typically takes years. Tesla does it in 11 months. The Shanghai Gigafactory rises from a muddy field with almost supernatural speed. It is a marvel of efficiency, built with Chinese partners and local supply chains. It becomes the most profitable car plant in China, proving that the Tesla model, vertically integrated and maniacally focused, can be exported anywhere. The tipping point, 2020. In 2020, a strange year for the world, a symbolic moment occurs for Tesla. Its market capitalization surpasses Toyota's, making it the most valuable automaker on the planet. The team that once slept under their desks, that fought off bankruptcy on Christmas Eve, that built cars in a tent, now sets the agenda. Every legacy automaker scrambles to release an electric car. The underdog is now the giant. The world has changed, but in the hallways of Fremont and the design studios, the scars remain, a permanent reminder that the edge between brilliance and delusion is razor thin, and survival is never guaranteed.